All right, welcome. My name is Jerry Durham, and I want to welcome you to my selling program, my selling series that I've put together for SME Superior Medical Equipment. This is video number one in the series. I actually did an intro video, and if you haven't watched that, I'd highly recommend you go watch that because you're going to need the context for why the hell I'm sharing what I'm sharing and where does this guy get off being an expert on the front desk. And I'm going to say it's because I did a boatload of reps, did a boatload of things wrong, and have finally gotten to a world where I understand some of this stuff enough that I think I can be dangerous and help other people be as successful as I was and the other practices I've worked with. So first off, I want to thank SME, Superior Medical Equipment, for asking me to be a subject matter expert, which SME is going to become. And there's going to be a lot of other subject matter experts. I think I am, fortunately, the first one they asked to come on. So I get to say I was the first one. And they want to bring more quality information to their clients, to people who do business with them, and people who sign up for their email list. So I applaud them on this, and I'm more than happy to put together this selling series because I want people in the healthcare world to be more successful in finding more people in their community that they can serve and create greater patient success with. Okay. So that's why I'm doing this program. I want you to be able to help more people in your community who need your help. And I said this already, and I'm going to recommend it again that you go back and you watch that first video that I put together. So you have all the context of why I'm here doing this. Um, And then just to recap, I actually got on the phone and did a lot of this work and did it very poorly because in my business, I went out of network in the early 2000s. And so I ended up taking all the incoming new patient calls for my business for a full year, took over 1,000 new patient calls and did at least 1,000 cost callbacks because we were out of network and we determined that was something we needed to do. So this journey of answering calls, of talking to these healthcare consumers before they were paying customers, we all wait till they get in the business. A lot of the people I talked to, right, never scheduled. So this journey brought me to stabilizing my business and be able to create a front desk sales system that kept the company thriving and striving. And then I realized that other practices could probably use this work. And that's when I created my client experience company. And that's the work I do now, helping people to strategize on better pre-arrival processes, on better sales processes in their business to do what? Put more people on the schedule that are prepared to arrive, pay, and stay. And what I've found over my journey is that it's not just about getting people on the schedule, because what I found over time is when we spent more time in this pre arrival process further upstream, we had greater patient success, which led to greater business success. Things like increased arrivals, decreased no shows, decreased cancels, decreased drop offs. So I'm going to teach you the structure and the tips, right? My goal in this series is to teach you the structure and the tips to get the right people on the schedule so that you can set your providers and patients both up for success. And I'm here to make sure that you're prepared to do that. This is just video number one in a series I've created just for SME and just for you all watching this. I'm going to make sure you know not only how to sell, yet I'm going to make sure you understand why you need to do it this way, right? And where it fits in the bigger picture of patient success, because patient success leads to business success. Cool. We're ready to rock and roll. The number one principle that my journey is built on, that I say this mantra every morning and every night, is this: what's best for the patient is best for the business. I came up with this. I'm going to take credit for this. And what I learned over time, the more I was focused on this person that was raising their hand and asking if we would help them on their journey, the more I focused on them, the better the business did. I want you to flip that. What's best for the business is best for a patient. I go, nope, I'd argue not. And that's probably how healthcare got here, is because many of us focused on the business side and not that person we are serving. So the principle, I got about 5 principles, but this is the one you need to know today because everything I talk about is going to flow from this. Now, the framework. So we have the principle. Now we got to talk about the framework. This is the structure that we're going to use to create, right? Deliver on that principle. And really, this framework is just the flow of the successful business. Attraction is marketing to sales, your front desk team, whether it's answering the phone, whether it's answering texts, answering emails, Facebook ads. I don't care what it is, right? From marketing to sales. This excite what I call this is just delivering on the experience you wanted to create and you told people in that sell phase that they would experience in your company. So they show up and things are delivered that they were promised because that leads to the next thing, retention. If expectations are managed and set, if people get what they were told they were going to get or what they asked for, then they are more likely to stay, right? And then the end result, right, is referrals. Really, it's one of the end result is referrals. They tell their doctor, they tell their friends, they tell their neighbors, they tell their family members. They go online to write reviews for you, right? And then the cycle, this virtuous cycle starts again. Marketing, sales, excite, retain, referral. So the principle we're working from, what's best for that patient is best for business, not the other way around. And we're inserting it into this framework of moving from marketing to sales to excite to retain to referral. We good? Cool. Let's jump right in. Right. Remember, today is all about the mindset, right? Selling, it's all in your head. So I want to talk about these mindset things, these things that you need to really take in. And some of this stuff I'm going to tell you, take a picture of and post so you can see it every day and start applying the work that I talk about in the later videos. But what I found is if I go to straight to the how to do things without addressing the why and the mindset of it, people are not as successful. So this is why we're starting here. This is old school, my friends, and this is where I started, and this is what I hired and trained people and told them to do. Just get people scheduled. I want you to answer the phone and I want to get them scheduled. And then I just need you to get them scheduled. I just need you, right, to take care of them, get them on the schedule. We'll take care of the rest. This is nothing but a tailspin and out of control, right? Deep death spiral in your business. This leads to more drop-offs, more cancels, more no-shows, right? I do a lot of secret callers. I got to tell you, people keep me on the phone for 7, 8 minutes without doing any of the stuff I'm going to tell you, and they were just told to get people scheduled. So we're keeping people on the phone for a long time, and we're not delivering anything that tells them why they should arrive, pay, and stay. This is old school mindset. And really, what's scary is when you talk about this, you have to go, who does that serve? Just get them scheduled and let them show up. Just get their name, their insurance, their referral, all the things we need for the business. So who's that get them scheduled mindset serve? The business. We don't tell them they're going to see an expert, right? Sometimes we don't tell them what the cost is. We tell them we'll get them that stuff when they arrive. We don't tell them how much paperwork is. We don't tell them about the expert they're going to see. They show up and it's just another thing in healthcare. I really don't know why I'm here. I don't know who I'm going to see. God, my secret callers, I do these secret callers all the time. The number of times people don't even tell me the name of the provider I'm going to see is baffling to me. So this whole get them scheduled mindset is the wrong mindset because it serves the business and not the people who are calling and asking for our help. Here's the mindset you need to get in. Instead of just get them scheduled, how about I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to start to build a relationship with this person that's going to last throughout their entire life cycle with my practice. I'm going to be a problem solver with them, for them. And then I'm going to set them and the provider I scheduled them with up for success. That's an arrival mindset right there, my friends. And you can see already this, who does that serve versus the new school approach? Who does that serve? The person on the other end of the phone that wants to do business with you, the patient. Because if we make it about the patient, then the business will be successful. Making it about the business does not make the patient successful. Just look at your drop off rate, look at your cancel rate, look at your no show rates, look at industry wide what those are. YPT puts out numbers every year. It's baffling their drop off rate. These are people that were just scheduled. No relationships were built. They didn't know about the problem to be solved. They didn't know they were seeing experts. That's that old school approach. This new school approach serves the patient that we want to create success for. Remember, today is just about this mindset. So just follow along with me here. We're going to get in the weeds on future parts of this program, and there will be multiple more recorded series. Oh, by the way, There will be multiple recorded series, but also I will be coming back in live to help you and your team answer your questions, your concerns, your thoughts about how to implement all this into your business. So keep notes, right? Write down your thoughts, write down your concerns, take notes about questions, because there will be live opportunities where I can speak with your team, speak with you about how to implement all this into your business. Sorry, I didn't say that at the beginning. All right. So, new school serves the patient we want to make successful, right? Cool. Now, let's define this word. Let's define this dirty word, selling. It's a mindset. When I say selling, you think negative things. So, I'm going to challenge you on this. When you think negative things, I want you to think about the experience you had that led you to think those negative things, and think if the person you were dealing with took this approach, because this is my definition of successful selling. This is my definition of a successful salesperson. Okay. This successful salesperson is going to listen to the person on the other end of the phone. They are going to ask them better questions to better understand what problem they want solved. We'll get into this in a little problem, because selling is about matching a product, whatever you have. I'm not just talking about healthcare. It's about matching a product with someone's problem. Is our product the right thing to solve this person's problem? So if I don't get your problem, low back pain is not a problem. The fact you can't go to the gym pain free is a problem. The fact you can't get out of bed in the morning without pain is a problem. The fact you can't get on and off the floor with your newborn is a problem. Low back pain is not the problem to be solved. I can't go to the gym is a problem to be solved. So a great salesperson listens and asks better questions to find out what truly the problems you have are, so that they can align or figure out if the services, if the product is appropriate for them. So selling is about listening, is about asking better questions and helping someone understand how what you do can help them solve their problem. And I'm going to tell you, every great physical therapy front desk team who understands this does a great job. This has nothing to do with in-network, out-of-network, hybrid. I don't care about your payer model. I don't care about your payer model. This has everything to do with aligning that person up with the value that you can deliver, so that they want to show up, so that they want to pay you, so that they want to engage and commit to a plan of care with your practice. This is how it happens. Now, that's probably what you need to take a picture of and hang in the back. If I'm listening and asking you better questions to learn more about your problem, then I can help you better understand how what we can deliver can do all that. And then I can give you a price, and then you can make a determination if we're the right fit for you. That's pretty much it. So we want to do what's best for the patient. We want to do what's best for that person that we want to serve. At this point, they're not even our patient. We're having a conversation with them. They're a potential patient. We owe them this conversation. We don't want to put them on the schedule just so they can show up and go, that's not a good fit for me, and commit all that time and pay for that visit. We want people on the schedule committed to arrive, pay, and then stay. Zero no-shows, damn near zero drop-offs, and minimal cancels are all the result of this work. Now, let's talk about the person on the other end of the phone, because great salespeople understand their buyers, understand the people that they are selling to. This is awesome because this comes out of the research. So I did some research. This was a while back, pre-chat GPT, by the way. Yes, I went and looked for all this content. I pulled together all these articles about what people want from healthcare and healthcare providers. Well, you and I both know there was a lot in communication. I want someone who listens to me. I don't want to repeat myself. I don't want to fill out a stack of paper. We get all that. I pushed that aside and said, yeah, we understand that. But really, what is that deliverable? What are they expecting? It's more than the communication, because even people listen real well, they're not going to commit a plan of care to if they don't do these three things that we're looking at right here. So what I found in the research of what that person on the other side of the phone wants from you without stating it And if you understand this before you get on the phone, then you can have a better mindset and a better process in place to take someone through this conversation, to ask them better questions, right? They want their problems solved. They want challenges overcome, and they want to be able to pursue opportunities. Jerry, what does that mean in English? It means this right here. They want an expert. By the way, this study was done like 30, 40,000 people. And the beauty of this first one, when people said they want an expert, they said, please define expert. And the biggest response was someone who has helped someone just like me. Hey, Jerry, I have low back pain. Oh, sorry to hear that. But here at ABC Physio, we help a lot of people with low back pain, and we have experts who are helping people with low back pain currently. Boom, you got experts. They want an expert, and then they want to know what's going on. The research says diagnosis. I took this out of here because typically we don't diagnose, but this came, right? The research said diagnosis because this came out of the medical research. So I took this of wanted from providers, they want from healthcare, right? Healthcare providers. So this applies to us. And by the way, I've had a lot of success with this approach. So again, if I know what someone is looking for before they call me, I can set up a process and a structure to listen for these things, ask better questions, and then apply their problem, the things they want solved to this formula. So they want to know what's going on, right? They want to know why they can't go to the gym pain free. They want to know why they are waking up with morning pain, right? And then they want a path. They want a plan of care. Heard of one of those? They want a plan of care back to that desired outcome. This is every single, when I read this, I about fell out of my chair. I said, we already have the structure. I don't have to make anything new up. I just have to build a better front end sales process to have this conversation with people because this is happening on every single evaluation that walked in our door. They're aligned with an expert. The expert's going to be able to tell them why they can't get to the gym pain free and why they're having that morning pain. And then they're going to say, sit down, Jerry, let's look at your plan back to the gym pain free and out of morning pain. And when I'm promising these things, I'm not promising an outcome. I'm promising someone who's helped other people with this and the plan. I'm not telling them the plan will be successful. So bear with me on all that. But if a great salesperson understands that person who's going to connect with them on the other phone, on the other end of the phone, better and better, email, text, whatever it is, then they can be more successful in their sales process. And in our world, that's more people on the schedule who will arrive, pay, and stay. That means I'm helping more people in my community that need my help, right? Cool. Now, this mindset for selling. I know I'm going back and forth, but I want to intersperse these things, right? So we talked about what selling is. What does that person on the other end of the phone want? Now let's talk about the person that we need picking up the phone to deliver this sales process, to have this conversation. And the bulk of us, including myself, stopped at number one when we were hiring people. It's number one on the list because it's the damn bare minimum. And everybody tells me their front desk cares. And I'm like, why is your arrival rate 80%, 70%? If they cared so much, wouldn't they be getting people on the schedule who would arrive, pay, and stay? Right? So caring doesn't pay the bills. That's my statement. Caring is the bare minimum, right? And this mindset, these are attributes of great salespeople, again. Probably not the things you thought, but it aligns with that definition of a great selling process and a great salesperson, right? They have confidence in themselves and what they're selling. And what they're selling is that expert who will deliver a diagnosis and a plan of care. They don't have to know all your services and treatments. Services and treatments are commodities. We're selling value here. I'll get into all this in later, but I want you to understand this is what's going to deliver us that person that can do the hard work, putting someone on the schedule prepared to arrive, pay, and stay. They're persistent, no highs, no lows. If they get five people in a row don't schedule, they pick up the phone and they do the next thing. They're consistent. Because they're persistent, they're consistent. I love those two together. Same process on every interaction. The only way you can have an 80% conversion rate is to execute on your process 100% of the time. You control the process, not the outcome. Okay? They're good. at building relationships, speaking to them, about them, and with their words. So talking to the person on the other side of the phone, right? Using their words, not our words, not the business words. Remember, they're here to build relationships. They're great at asking questions. They're great at listening. They're great at finding out what's important to them and acknowledging and repeating these things back. They embrace the concerns of the other people, right? The stated and not stated. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty is the deal killer in healthcare. People no show cancel and drop off because of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. People say, I'll think about it because of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. People agree to schedule out 12 visits and then go home and cancel because of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. So your front desk team has to be ready to embrace these concerns, stated and unstated. They've got to be willing to ask the tough questions. Why today? Why now? What's going to keep you from coming? And then this you versus me mentality. This is the old school versus the new school, right? It can't be about the business and practice. It's got to be about them. Mind you, what's cool about this you versus me, I've learned over time, I can ask you questions that are about you that help me achieve the business objectives that I need to on the phone. This will be for another series. But don't think that, oh my God, by the way, don't look at these, don't listen to any of this and think this phone call is going to be 20 minutes long. It's not. I do secret callers where none of this is done that go 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes. And at the end of it, I'm like, wow, that was brutal. I was on the phone for 8 minutes and nothing happened. And the person asked me my name 3 times and right, none of this stuff. And I hang up and I don't know the name of my provider. Okay. So what's best for the patient is best for business. We think about building relationships, being a problem solver, right? Making sure that we're setting up the patient and provider for success, right? Where you make sure we know what the patient, this person, potential patient wants from us, right? They want an expert who will give them a diagnosis and give them a plan, right? And then we hire people with these attributes because they're going to be the ones who can deliver on everything I just said. Then to wrap up, right, we got to remember that selling in a healthcare practice is really about 3 things. And really, this is selling in a business. It's know what you have to offer. And by the way, it's the expert who will deliver the diagnosis and the plan. Mm-hmm. If you're selling dry needling, if you're selling new fit, if you're, and by the way, I've done sales webinars for these people for their clinics to help them understand how to sell that commodity within this structure. So don't get me wrong, but we're selling value here. And what you have to offer is an expert who can deliver all this. Then this person is good at listening. And then they're going to ask better questions so that they can do what? Build a relationship, set the provider and patient up for success, right? And manage and set expectations and make sure they have someone on the schedule ready to arrive, pay, and stay. So go back and watch this again. And thank you for coming. This is going to be really important, right? This is the mindset for everywhere we're going, right? And remember, watch these and watch them in order, and then come to the Q&As with questions. People are going to come to the Q&A without watching these, and it's going to be go watch video 1, go watch video 3. So watch these, take them in, sit in them, reflect on them, write your notes, write your concerns, write your thoughts, put them all down, and be ready for the live Q&As. And be ready for video number 2 in this selling program. And that concludes selling. It's all in your head. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you committing to actually doing more at that front desk. Cheers all.